glamorous bitches. I'm Cassidy Ray. Did you miss me? Of course you did. So this week's video, I wanted to talk about a trans-related topic, and that was trans acceptance. That was originally going to be the title of what I was going to talk about, but I'd actually like to broaden that to acceptance in general. Because honestly, there are more than just transgender people that need acceptance. Now, this channel obviously focuses on transgender related issues and things that are important, or pertain to me being transgender. But some of you may not realize that transgender is a pretty broad term, and it covers not just male to female, like myself, or female to male, transgender individuals born different than their assigned gender at birth. But there's a whole spectrum of other gender identities along the way, including non-binary, meaning they don't really identify as male or female, somewhere in the middle or wherever. That's cool. That's how they are. Nothing wrong with that. There is agender, which is similar, meaning that they don't, again, identify with one particular gender or either gender, male or female. They're going to identify somewhere in between or not at all. Gender identity is a very personal and particular thing that only the person, only the individual can decide. And they're the ones that will express it. And as a person who is going to be an ally or a supporter or a family member or a friend, it's kind of your job just to support them. Don't ask questions. I mean, not that you can't ask questions, of course you can, but understand that nobody knows a person better than themselves, and accepted the fact that they're being genuine to themselves. So that's one little tip right there. As far as acceptance goes, the type of acceptance that I'm going to talk about tonight is when people come out to their family, to their friends, and to their work in particular. Everybody, of course, wants acceptance. Everybody just wants to be loved and appreciated for who they are. And that's not always the case. And a lot of times, the fear of not receiving that acceptance is crippling. And that's what keeps people in the closet or, in denial or repression for years, if not their whole lifetime. And that's a dangerous thing because that creates anxiety, depression, and, that could lead to suicide, self-harm, and, that's unacceptable. Nobody should ever feel like they have to hurt themselves because they can't be who they know they are. So, back to acceptance. Everybody wants to be accepted, and that's an important thing, and it was important for me as well. And it took me a long time to get over that fear when I came out of, am I going to be accepted? Am I going to lose everything? Am I going to be outcast, humiliated? And that's a legitimate concern, but I also want people to know that the realization that I came to, at least for me, and all the things that I say, the opinions expressed, and the viewpoints, it's all just me. It's all just my own opinion from my own experiences. And it only applies to me, but it may help somebody else, or it may lead to somebody else having an inner discussion or realization of their own, and that's fine. But as far as my life was concerned, I got to the point where I had understood, I had accepted the fact that once I came out, there was only two possible situations. People were going to accept me or they weren't. And I know that sounds overly simple, but that's really what it boils down to. Some people will accept you, some people will love you regardless, and some people won't. And that's just the way it is. That's something you cannot control, and you never ever will be able to, no matter what you do. And that's okay, because you don't have to. Sometimes family members will surprise you. Either way, they could be your biggest supporters or they could reject you. I've read, so many people's accounts of, how their family just disowned them and didn't want anything to do with them. And that's horrible. And I would, never wish that upon anyone. But the fact of the matter is, that could possibly happen. But what you have to remember is when you come out, when you decide to live authentically, you're doing it for you and only you. And that's the only thing that matters. We all want validation. We all want acceptance. And it's easy to say, I don't need anybody. I don't care. But it's difficult to actually live that. And I understand that. And what helped me when I made my decision to live authentically and to come out to my family and my friends and eventually my job was that I had come to the realization all my life I kept my secret, I kept my nature to myself, I fought it, I suppressed it, and I tried to deny it because I was worried that I would lose everything. And then it finally clicked. I realized there was nothing I could lose that was more important to me than my own happiness and peace of mind. Now, again, it's not easy to get there, but you can. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes things just click like a light switch. Everybody comes to it differently. They're walking their own path. One of the good things that we as a community have is that we have each other and we have people that have gone through the same struggles and felt the same emotions and everything that we have. And although that never makes it easier, it doesn't take away the pain, but it is comforting to know that people have been through similar circumstances and come out okay. Or at least, you know, they survived. They made it through. They're going through it, but eventually everything will fall into place. You'll come to a point where you're going to realize that the people that support you are going to support you whether you ask them to or not, because they truly care about you. And those are the people that are supposed to be in your life that you want to surround yourself with because they uplift you. And then there are those that no matter what, they're not going to see, they're not going to understand, and they're not going to support you. And that's okay too. And, you know, you may have to cut them out because you don't need that kind of negativity. That's harmful to you. That's also your choice too, though, because sometimes people will come around. Sometimes they can be made to understand, or, sometimes it just takes time. Sometimes it takes a little bit of getting used to. And, you have to remember that this is new to you. Maybe, this might not be new to you. You might have been living with these feelings for a long time, but if you've never told anybody, then it's very new to them, and they have to process it. They have to process it in their own way and in their own time, and that's okay. Again, the people that love you will support you. Even if they don't understand, even if they don't agree, the people that truly and genuinely love you, and that's not necessarily guaranteed to be your family, but there are people that will, they'll do it regardless because they care about you, because they care about you as a person. And they know that the things that you're doing are being done because this is the only way you can survive. And I know that sounds dramatic, but it's true. So, I guess really the main point that I wanted to make with this video is you really can't change it. You really can't control whether people accept you or not. And there's going to be both. There's always going to be people that don't accept you, and there's always going to be people that do. The important thing is to live your life on your terms to the best of your ability for you and be happy. Make yourself happy because that's all you have. Nothing else matters besides your own happiness and peace of mind. Until next time, love you.